Hello, it is me again, Becky. Thank you for stopping by. I am at my parents' house in Oklahoma, so I thought it would be a great time to start this Unstuff Your Kindle vlog. So this month's theme is leaves on the cover, so I will be trying to read as many books off of my Kindle with leaves on the cover as I can. So I am going to start reading Must Love Moss and Moonshine. I have no idea what this book is about, quite honestly. It could be about fairies, it could be a nonfiction, I literally don't know. But this is what I'm going to start reading. And hopefully I can get some of it read this weekend while I am at my parents' house. But I thought it would be fun to look at some of the books that my mother has on her shelf. I'm assuming my dad probably made this shelf. But these are all my sister's books. She reads a lot of like middle grade. And then this is my mom's selection, and my mom tends to read a lot of historical romances, so she has stuff like Romancing the Dashing Duke. This one looks interesting. No idea what it's about, but I like the cover. The Forest Bride. I like that title. This is one my sister gave her to read. It's like a horror that counts down the days of Christmas. An echo of old books. That sounds interesting. It's probably a historical fiction. Oh, I read this. I really liked this. This was for April and Crystal's Mood Reader book club. I think my mom will like this too. The Missing Agent. Seems like some sort of like mystery. Well, there's also old people on it, so like historical mystery. There's another one. Scarlet. My mom likes Scarlet Scott. She's read a lot of those books. The Hands. Oh, I picked this up for her in Egypt. Don't even know what it's about. But let me show you the questionable books, okay? Why are these on my mom's shelf? I have a feeling she wanted this book because of the cover. And she has no idea what it's about. I'm gonna have to tell her she's not gonna like that book. There's another historical romance. And then this one right here is also questionable. Why? She might like this one. I don't know. I haven't read it, and I haven't ever heard anybody talk about it, but I'm assuming it's very spicy fantasy romance. She's also got all of these books up here. Most of them are historical romance, like Outlander, and she's just got a bunch of like historical romances like, oh geez, I can't even reach them. At the bottom, she has Jennifer L. Armentrout. Oh, so, and she has read that apparently. She's read all of these books, so yeah, I never know what's gonna pop up in my mom's book selections. I'm just wandering around my parents' property out here in the country, but I did start reading Must Love the chickens. I did start reading Must Love Moss and Moonshine, and this is actually a prequel to a bigger series, I guess. I didn't know that. So I guess that's a great introduction. If I like this, then I continue on with the series. But it's a cozy fantasy about this dryad who is very isolated in his forest when he meets this elf who stumbled into his forest, and she got like knocked off her horse by a tree. And so she had like a lump on her head. She wakes up and she has amnesia, so she doesn't remember who she is, where she was going, what she was doing, and all this. And he has this inexplicable draw to her to want to protect her. But so far it's really cozy, like the descriptions of what the forest looks like and what his cottage looks like and like the atmosphere, and he's got like this wall of books in his cottage is really freaking cozy. I'm at my brother and my sister-in-law's house now. Look at this nice library she has with the ladder, the lucky duck. But I thought I'd give you an update. I finished reading Must Love Moss and Moonshine, and I think I'm gonna give this like 3 stars. It was fine. I just didn't have like a strong connection to the characters, and it was very insta-lovey. We're talking like 2 days insta-love. The secret wood that the dryad protects so whimsical, magical, cozy. I would want to live in there, honestly. The trees and the animals can speak to him, and it was super, super cozy. I didn't so much like the amnesia trope in this because they were like getting spicy with each other, and they weren't really sure if she, like, what her past life entailed. Like, did she have a husband or anything like that? They didn't know, and they were continuing to go on with that. Lucky for them, she didn't. But still, I'm not a big fan of the amnesia trope. But if you like your cozy vibes, you might check this out. It was fine for what it was. So I am now reading Snake Eater by T. Kingfisher. This is an ARC I have, and I'm using this cover because it's got leaves on it. So I knew nothing about this. From what I get, it is about this woman who is running from this like mentally manipulative relationship, and she goes to this town to meet this aunt who is sending her postcards asking her to come visit. But when she gets there, she finds out her aunt has died. But she is offered to, you know, take over her aunt's home and live in it until she gets her way about her or whatnot. And right now she's just meeting the people in this very small like desert town with her dog and settling in. I feel like there's going to be something like dark or sinister about this house. I haven't gotten that far yet, but with T. Kingfisher, you never know. And that's as far as I've got. So I am enjoying this. I think I'm like 20% in right now. So far so good. But I've checked out my sister-in-law's library. I've taken a couple books that I think I might want to read from her. I think we're going to go try and find a little free library that's in this town she's in. We're hoping that it exists. Because there's an address, but the address is really wonky. Every time I look it up, it doesn't show it on the map. So anyway, let me demonstrate her ladder because I really want to. Well, that was fun. I would love to have one of those, but these weren't cheap. And I'm not rich, so I'll just live vicariously. So I am back home now, and I'm about 35% into Snake Eater, and I did have to put this down at one moment and take a 2-day break from reading it because I got scared, okay? I'm like a horse, and this book was like a plastic bag. It freaked me out a little bit. I don't like books that have malevolent spirits or things that watch people, and I don't like dolls, and this has quite a lot of those elements. It's got this creepy doll who she feels like is watching her all the time, which gives me the freaking creeps. And then there's this malevolent spirit that she thought she heard somebody talking in her ear. She turned around, it wasn't there. She woke up and she felt like somebody was holding her, and she looks down and she sees this arm, and then it pushes her off the bed, and she turns around and it freaked me the fuck out. I don't like those types of things, okay? I don't, because I have a very vivid imagination, very vivid. And those things tend to give me weird dreams and nightmares, and don't like it. So I had to take a little break after that part, and now I'm only reading this book during the day. I switched to this book, Blood and Bargains, something like that. I don't know if I know anything about it. It's about this woman whose husband died, and she is having a rough go of it. She's like very depressed. I feel like she's got a lot of suicidal ideation going on, and that's pretty much all I know. I haven't made it very far into this book. I'm wondering if there's a paranormal aspect to this, because Blood and Bargains, like, is it a paranormal? Is it going to be like a dark romance? Y'all find out when I find out, I guess. I have some updates going. I am still reading Snake Eater. I'm about, I want to say 55-60% into this by now. The scariness has faded a little bit, and I don't know if that's because I'm reading it during the day or if the scary element definitely isn't as prevalent as it was, but there are still things about it, like things showing up at her door at night that don't have any faces. Yeah, that kind of freaks me the fuck out. Really, this story is just her like finding her place in this little desert town. Not much is happening other than her trying to survive and her like encountering these malevolent spirits and like these gods and stuff like that. So I haven't really figured out much more of like where the plot is going. It seems like just a slice of life story more. But I'm making progress in it. But I finished reading Blood and Bargains. And this book was a total surprise because, like I said, I had no idea what the fuck this book was even about. Characters in both this book and this book, sorry, sidetrack here. Both of their names are Billy. That's weird. Her and her friend Emma were going to this bonfire, and that's where I left off. Turns out that surrounding this town, there was a veil, and there was a curse that a witch had put on the Fae to block them from entering the human realm for 100 years. And suddenly this veil, or this curse, has expired, and the veil has lifted. And so all of these Fae creatures are now infiltrating the human realm and are killing people, and people are going missing. And one of them ends up being Emma. She ends up taking Billy back to her house because they're both drunk. They had drank some wine that strangers had given them. She takes her back to her house, and the next morning, Emma is gone, and there's no trace of her. And so she's trying to figure out where her best friend is. She's trying to work with the local authorities who aren't really helping all that much. And she ends up following this like quartz cobblestone path into the woods that leads her to a cottage where she meets this fairy, or this Fae man named Colum. And he is introducing her to all of these aspects of the Fae world that she had no idea existed, and she's trying to get him to help her find Emma. There are so many different Fae creatures in this story. There are merfolk in this. There are will-o'-the-wisps. There's Kelpie, which I love a book with a Kelpie in it. I'm a sucker for a Kelpie. There's the Unseelie and the Seelie Fae. And these Fae are very trickster Fae. They are very devious and dangerous Fae. They're killing people left, right, and center. They're torturing people. There's an attraction between Billy and Colum. She's grieving for her deceased husband, and so she still feels like maybe she's cheating on him by harboring this attraction for Colum. And Colum is fighting his attraction for her as well because he doesn't want to put her in danger, and he's harboring some secrets as well. But I liked the slow build up in their relationship, how it took its time to develop, and the little things that led up to them finally embracing their attraction for one another. There is something in this book that I had a sneaking suspicion about from the beginning, and it ended up being true. So that wasn't like a big surprise for me, but I didn't mind it so much. But it does end this book on a cliffhanger. And I do know that this is the first book in, I think, a duology or maybe a series. I don't know. So I am interested to see where this goes because I really liked how this Fae story came together. So I'm going to give this 5 stars. This was a great free pick that I found on Amazon. So if you like fantasy romance that deals with Fae, but you're wanting something with a little bit more sinister Fae, definitely check this book out. I'm going to say it's fantasy romance, but it definitely has that feel of more paranormal because it does feel like it's set in the real world. You know, you have police officers, you have like cell phones, things like that that bring it into that reality element. But there was nothing specifically saying where this was located or whatnot like that. But it's more of a, it's not so much she goes into a different world that doesn't exist. It's like there's just this veil where the Fae are glamored and the humans can't see that. So paranormal romance, fantasy romance, it's a fine line there. But I definitely think if you like fantasy romance, you should check this out.
Okay, so I am laying here. I'm in the middle of sprints. And I'm reading Snake Eater, and how I said before that I had to take breaks with it because it scared me. It suddenly got funny. There is this, like, desert god known as Snake Eater. He's essentially a roadrunner. And apparently he had a relationship with her aunt who died. And because she's sort of moved into her aunt's home, this god now has a liking for her. And this line right here, she says, "Yes, but the only thought in her head was, I can't fuck a bird." And as somebody who's read monster romance and some bird romances, I'm thinking, yeah, you can. And then she tells him that she's seeing somebody, that she's engaged, and he gets a little upset by this. And Snake Eater says, "Where is he? I'll kill him, and it will no longer be a problem." Is this a monster romance?
My question to you is this going to be on your blog?
Yeah,
Does this have leaves on the cover?
it does. The UK cover has leaves on the cover.
Ooh, splitting hairs. I love it. I finished my video.
You finished your vlog? Oh, yay. Somebody's doing a vlog with me.
I'm literally starting it today.
I'm going to have to kick April and Crystal out of the Unstuff Your TBR group because they don't participate. Well, I'm talking shit about April and she's here. Hi.
She's here.
April. Good. She didn't hear me talking shit about her. Never mind. I finished reading Snake Eater, and I'm gonna end up giving this like a low 4-star. I ended up enjoying my time with it at the end. It did start out very slow, very slice of life, and it was kind of boring compared to a lot of other T. Kingfisher books I've read. But by the end, that signature humor that she brings to her horror made an appearance, and I enjoyed that. But I liked the desert setting. I liked the indigenous folklore that I got introduced into the story. I liked the small town community that really banded together to help this woman out. She did have some anxiety, so this has, I would say, pretty decent anxiety rep. Like, I could definitely feel her anxiety. It was more like social anxiety than anything else. She was always questioning whether or not the things that she was saying was appropriate in the time and the place, and always second guessing like the things that were coming out of her mouth. So I feel like she was very real in that sense. While I was scared in the beginning, I was not scared by the end of it, okay? The humor really alleviated a lot of the things that scared me. I will say, though, the creepy doll that scared me in the beginning, that's like a plot hole for this, because it just never gets brought up again. And I'm like, what was this creepy doll that she felt like was watching her? What was that about? Because it just never comes up again. I don't film enough in front of my tree. It's decorated still for summer. I'm about to switch it out for Halloween, though. Anyway, I need to give you an update and tell you what I'm reading. I am reading Sink or Swim right now, and this is a female monster romance. I'm about 40% into it, and so far, I'm liking it. I'm not loving it, but I'm liking it. It's about this sea monster named Una, who she actually gave herself her own name because she doesn't have any of her own kind. Excuse the tail. She doesn't have anybody of her own kind, and she hasn't had anybody to talk to in 50 years. So nobody's given her a name. So she gives herself the name Una. And she's in her swamp. And one day this boat comes by, and in drops this man whose legs and arms are tied. He worked for this mafia group, and he did something that he shouldn't have done. And so they take him out to the swamp and they, throw him in. And she ends up saving him and taking him back to her treehouse. And they have a language barrier. She can understand a little bit of English, but not much. So she is just thinking of him as a pet. And then they get to know each other, and they slowly start to learn more about each other and understand each other's language a little bit more. And an attraction grows between them. And where I left off, they went swimming in this clear lake, not her swamp. And she becomes aroused. And while it's not the first time she's been aroused, it's really the first time she can do anything about it, because she has claws. And she has, parts similar to a human. But she can't, touch herself because, she doesn't want to scratch herself. But he's there. And he's like, let me help you.
okay, it's cute and it's sweet and I like it. I like when the female main character is a monster or alien because it's just sweet that she's finally finding somebody who's attracted to her. And yeah, anyway, I knew that if I didn't give you an update and let you know what I was reading, that I would have just been like, okay, I finished this book. So I'll tell you my rating in the next update. But yeah, this is exactly the kind of thing that I love.
I finished reading Sink or Swim, and I really liked this. I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. It's not quite a 5, but I really did enjoy this. I loved the female monster, male human dynamic. I love the whole I'm willing to give you up even if it breaks my heart thing. That was just so sweet. And I loved how they had to help each other communicate, and she taught him some things, he taught her some things. The ending of this was really cute, how they ended up together, and I liked that he mentions her to his friends, and they just believe him, and they're like, okay, let's go get your girl. So it was nice that by the end of this story, they had people that they could interact with. So they weren't so isolated with her being a monster, and they had people that they could, you know, have fun with and be friends with. The thing that kept this from being a 5-star for me was I wish the story would have been longer and there would have been more time given to the interactions in which we see them fall in love, because this truly is a repulsion to love story, because he, when he first sees her, he is repulsed by her. He thinks she is creepy and ugly. And to see that grow into attraction, I wish more time could have been spent on that, and the little things and the little instances in which he started noticing those things about her that changed his mind, I wish I could have seen. But overall, this is exactly the kind of thing I love, and I thought this was super, super sweet. So I am going to finish out this vlog with one more book, and I think it's a really short book. I think it's under 100 pages. It's this book. Can't remember the name of it. Sorry. It's got something to do with Beltane. That's all I know. And as I'm editing this video, you know, I'm quite disappointed with the lack of leaf content in it. Usually when I do these Unstuff Your Kindle vlogs, I have these ideas to theme it around whatever the theme is. And I wanted to put in more leafy content, like I was going to do some like leaf crafts or something like that, or dress with things with leaves on it, as every clip I did, and your girl didn't do that. But as far as the books go, I think this is probably one of the most successful Unstuff Your Kindle vlogs I've done in terms of the amount of books that I've gotten off of my Kindle. So there's that.
I tried to read Beltane Magic. Turns out this only has 50 pages, and I couldn't even make it through all 50 pages. I DNF'd this at 25 pages. This is a prequel to a larger series, and we're following this witch who wants to take over her family's magical shop business or whatever, but she's going to college in Denver. So she goes to this party, and there she meets her soulmate, who happens to be this psychic who saw her in a vision. And they get to fucking right away the same night. But she wakes up, she's without her magic, and he's nowhere to be found. So she just skedaddles out of there. And then 4 years later, he has another vision, and he sees her, and he tracks her down to try and figure out what happened, why she disappeared, all that. So they meet back up, and it turns out that he didn't just up and leave her. He went to get her breakfast, and when she woke up, he wasn't there, so she thought he abandoned her. And her magic left her because she had too many orgasms in a row. Or some shit like that. And so her mother suggests that to get her magic back, they fuck more. And so they're like, okay, get into it. So they start to have sex again, and she loses her magic again. Which, this is what I don't understand. This is what I don't understand. So she lost her magic, but then she got her magic back. So why her mother would suggest that they fuck again to get her magic back, I don't because she already had her magic. Her magic came back after a few weeks or whatever. So they're suggesting that
they fuck again to get her magic back, but then they fuck again and she loses her magic and she's like, get out, you stole my magic. And that's when I quit, because I was like, oh my god, this is so stupid. It was so stupid. The characters were so immature. Oh, and the series is called Magical Midlife Romance or something like that. These characters are 24. Like, are the other books in the series, are the characters like in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever? Because I'm sorry, but these characters being 24, how is that midlife? I don't know. Anyway, these characters were immature. The story made no fucking sense to me whatsoever, and I just couldn't make it through 50 pages of this shit. So I am going to end out this Unstuff Your Kindle vlog here. Thought I would do it in front of this tree because, hey, a tree has leaves. But as I wrap up, I read Must Love Moss and Moonshine, gave it 3 stars. Do I think this was worth the free price tag? Sure, yeah, it wasn't awful. If you're into cozy fantasies, this might be like a cozy fantasy romance that you look into. I will say, though, I forgot to mention this had a squirrel in it, and every time the fucking squirrel appeared on page, I was like, oh, you little bastard. I hate squirrels. Anyway, it was worth its free price tag. I then read Snake Eater by T. Kingfisher. I gave this 4 stars. You know, I think it's a good T. Kingfisher story. If you like T. Kingfisher, you might as well check it out. If you are into, like, indigenous folklore, check it out when it releases in December. I then read Blood and Bargains, which I gave 5 stars. This was another one I picked up for free. Definitely worth its free price tag. I will be continuing on with this series. I also read Sink or Swim, which I gave 4.5 stars. This one I picked up for free as well, and I definitely think this was worth its free price tag. And I tried to read this Beltane Magic book, which I also got for free, and D. don't think it was worth its free price tag. So let me know down in the comments, what was the last book that you read that had a leaf on the cover? And did you read any books to clear off your TBR? Let me know. But if you don't want to comment that, but would like to let me know you made it to the end of this vlog, could you just leave me a leaf emoji, of course. And with that, until my next video, thank you so much for watching, and go out there and read a book with a leaf on the cover for fall. Bye.